The violin strings die mid-note. Luciano Moretto sits alone at a table built for two, watching rain streak down floor-to-ceiling windows that overlook Fifth Avenue. His fingers drum once against the white linen tablecloth. The candle between the empty plates flickers like it's embarrassed to still be burning. 43 minutes. That's how long he's been waiting. Around him, the restaurant hums with the kind of silence money buys. Soft footsteps on marble, crystal glasses meeting wood without a sound, waiters who know better than to ask questions. The entire floor is his tonight. Reserved. Private. A stage set for a woman who never bothered to show. Carlo arranged this. His consigliere promised it would soften his image for the new investors, make him look like more than just the man who controls half of New York's underground shipping routes. Luciano agreed, because sometimes power requires theater. But the lead actress walked off set. A server approaches, eyes down, voice barely a whisper. "Sir, would you like us to?" "Leave it," Luciano says. The server vanishes. He should go. He knows that. Every second he stays here is another second his rivals can laugh about the great Luciano Moretto, stood up like some college kid on prom night. But something keeps him in his seat. Pride, maybe. Or the refusal to let anyone think they can dictate when he moves. Then a voice cuts through the quiet. Not a server's voice, softer than that, but steady. "Sir, she's not coming." Luciano turns his head. Standing 3 feet from his table is a woman in the standard black and white uniform of the cleaning staff. Not a waitress. A maid. Her skin is deep brown, smooth like polished wood, and her hands grip a silver tray tight enough that her knuckles look pale. But her eyes, dark, wide, unblinking, hold something he doesn't see often. Courage wrapped in terror. "What did you say?" His voice comes out sharper than he means it to. She swallows. Her throat moves. For a second, he thinks she'll run, but she doesn't. "The woman you were supposed to meet," she says, words tumbling out fast and low. "She left through the back entrance 20 minutes ago. I heard her on the phone. She said she wasn't going to sit across from a monster who owns the city." The room goes cold. Not because of the insult. Luciano's heard worse, been called worse by men braver and stupider than some spooked socialite. But because this maid, this woman whose name he doesn't know, just spoke a truth that everyone else in this building was too afraid to say out loud. He studies her, really looks at her. She's trembling, just barely, but she hasn't looked away. Most people can't hold his gaze for more than 3 seconds. She's at 7 and counting. "What's your name?" he asks. She blinks, surprised. "Neria, sir." The name hangs in the air like smoke. Neria. Hi, viewers. Kindly tell us where you're watching from and what time it is. Luciano leans back in his chair, fingers steepled under his chin. "You work here long, Neria?" 7 months, she says. "And in 7 months, you've learned when to keep your mouth shut, I'm sure." His tone isn't a threat. It's a test. "Yes, sir." "Then why didn't you?" She hesitates. Her eyes flicker toward the kitchen doors, then back to him. Something shifts in her expression. Fear gives way to something harder, something desperate. "Because," she says quietly, "I thought you should know the truth." Before he can respond, she leans in closer. Close enough that he can smell the faint scent of lavender and bleach on her uniform. Her voice drops to a whisper, urgent and shaking. "Be careful tonight, Mr. Moretto. The woman who set you up, she wasn't alone." The words land like a knife between his ribs. Luciano's entire body goes still. His pulse doesn't spike. It never does, but his mind sharpens into a blade. "How do you know that?" Neria glances over her shoulder, then back at him. Her breath is coming faster now. "Because I saw a man in the kitchen earlier. He gave her a photograph of you and told her, 'We'll finish it tonight.'" In Luciano's world, that phrase has only one meaning. A hit. 2 of his men materialize from the shadows near the elevator, silent, fast, hands already reaching for Neria's arms. She flinches but doesn't scream. "No," Luciano says, voice calm as ice. She stays. His men freeze. Their hands hover in the air, uncertain. Neria looks at him, eyes wide, chest rising and falling like she just sprinted a mile. But she doesn't beg, doesn't plead. She just stands there, breathing hard, waiting for him to decide if she lives or dies. And that refusal to break does something to him he wasn't ready for. "Who are you?" he asks, quieter now. "Nobody," she whispers. "Just a maid who made a mistake." "No." Luciano shakes his head slowly. "You just saved my life. Or signed your own death warrant. We'll find out which." Neria's fingers won't stop shaking. She knows she should leave. Walk backward, turn around, disappear into the kitchen, and pretend this conversation never happened. But Luciano Moretto is still staring at her, and his two guards are still frozen mid-reach, and the air in this room feels like it's pressing down on her chest. "Tell me exactly what you saw," Luciano says. His voice is calm. Too calm. The kind of calm that comes right before violence. Neria forces herself to breathe. "I was cleaning the prep station near the service hallway. The woman, your date, she was on her phone, pacing. Then a man came in through the loading dock. White guy, tall, wearing a black jacket. He handed her an envelope and a phone. I heard him say your name. What else? He said, make sure he stays past 9. We'll finish it tonight." She pauses, swallowing hard. Then he laughed. Luciano's jaw tightens. Just once. It's the only crack in his expression. One of the guards, broad-shouldered, neck like a tree trunk, steps forward. "Boss, we need to sweep the perimeter, and we need to question her properly." Properly means a basement somewhere. Neria knows that. Everyone knows that. But Luciano raises one hand, and the guard stops like he hit a wall. "No," Luciano says again. His eyes never leave Neria's face. "She came to me, not them. That means something." Neria's heart is slamming so hard she's sure he can hear it. She wants to tell him she didn't come to him. She just couldn't stay quiet, couldn't watch another person get hurt when she had the power to stop it. But the words stick in her throat. "What?" Luciano asks, leaning forward slightly. "Why tell me?" "Because my brother disappeared 3 years ago, and no one cared. Because I know what it's like when people look the other way. Because maybe, just once, I wanted to be the person who didn't." But she doesn't say any of that. Instead, she says, "Because you didn't deserve to die tonight." Luciano blinks. It's barely a movement, but she sees it. Surprise. Maybe respect. She can't tell. Then his phone buzzes on the table. He glances down, reads the screen, and his entire posture changes. The casual curiosity vanishes. His shoulders square. His hand moves to his jacket pocket. "They found something," he says quietly, more to himself than to her. The guard on his left, thinner, sharper-eyed, speaks into a radio clipped to his collar. "Confirmation. Black sedan, 2 blocks south. Tinted windows. Engine running." Luciano stands. The chair doesn't scrape. It just moves. Smooth. Controlled. He buttons his suit jacket with one hand, eyes still on Neria. "You're coming with me," he says. "What?" Neria's voice cracks. "What?" "Because if you're lying, I'll know in the next 5 minutes. And if you're not." He pauses, tilting his head slightly. "Then someone just tried to kill me, and you're the only reason I'm still breathing." Before she can protest, the thin guard grips her elbow. Not rough, but firm enough that she knows running isn't an option. They move as a unit toward the elevator, Luciano in front, Neria in the middle, the 2 guards flanking her like walls. The elevator ride is silent except for the hum of the motor and the faint crackling of the radio. Neria's mind races. She thinks about her apartment in Brooklyn, the stack of unpaid bills on the kitchen counter, the photo of Darius she keeps taped to the bathroom mirror. She thinks about how badly she wanted to find him, and how stupidly she just threw herself into the orbit of the most dangerous man in New York. The doors open into an underground garage. The air smells like oil and concrete. 3 black SUVs are idling near the exit, headlights cutting through the dark. Luciano walks toward the lead vehicle, and the guard pulls Neria along. She's shoved, gently, but still shoved, into the back seat. Luciano slides in beside her. The door slams. "Drive," he says. The SUV pulls out into the rain-slick streets, tires hissing against wet pavement. Neria presses herself against the opposite door, pulse hammering, hands clenched in her lap. Luciano doesn't look at her. He's staring out the window, jaw tight, eyes tracking every shadow, every parked car, every alley they pass. 2 blocks south, the SUV slows. Ahead, under a broken streetlight, sits a black sedan, engine running. Windows so dark they look like sheets of obsidian. Luciano leans forward. "Stop here." The driver obeys. The convoy halts 20 feet from the sedan. For a long moment, no one moves. Rain drums on the roof. The wipers drag across the windshield in slow, rhythmic swipes. Then the sedan's driver's side door opens. A man steps out. Tall, black jacket, shaved head gleaming under the streetlight. Neria's breath catches. That's him. Luciano's hand moves to his waistband. The man from the sedan raises both hands, smiling. He's holding a phone in one hand. The other is empty. Luciano's guard, thin, sharp-eyed, speaks into the radio. 2 more in the vehicle. Weapons visible. Luciano's voice is flat. "How many rounds in the trunk?" "Enough." Neria's stomach twists. She looks at Luciano, at the way his hand rests on the gun at his hip, at the cold, unblinking focus in his eyes. This is what he does. This is who he is. And, somehow, she just saved him. The man in the black jacket takes a step forward, still grinning. Luciano opens his door. "Stay in the car," he tells Neria. "Wait." But he's already out, standing in the rain, gun drawn but pointed at the ground. The man in the black jacket laughs, a wet, ugly sound, and raises the phone like it's a toast. "Luciano Moretto," the man calls out. "Heard you got stood up tonight." That's got a sting. Luciano doesn't answer. He just walks forward, slow and steady, rain soaking his hair, his suit, his shoulders. The man's smile falters. Luciano stops 5 feet away. "You were hired to kill me tonight." "By who?" The man shrugs. "Don't know. Don't care. Just following orders." Wrong answer. The gunshot cracks through the rain like thunder. The man crumples. Neria claps a hand over her mouth, choking back a scream. Luciano turns, walking back to the SUV like he just stepped out for a cigarette. He slides in the back seat, rain dripping from his hair onto the leather, and pulls the door shut. "Drive," he says. The convoy moves. Neria stares at him, heart racing, hands shaking. "You just saved both our lives," Luciano finishes. He looks at her now, really looks at her, and his expression is unreadable. "You were right. They were waiting for me. And if you hadn't said something..." He trails off, then adds quietly, "Thank you." Neria doesn't know what to say, so she says nothing. The SUV turns onto the highway, red taillights bleeding into the rain. Luciano leans back against the seat, eyes closing for just a second. Then he opens them and says, "You just saved your own life. Or ended it." The penthouse smells like leather and old money. Floor-to-ceiling windows stretch across the far wall, reflecting the city lights like a second skyline. The furniture is dark, heavy, expensive, the kind that doesn't shift when you sit on it. Everything here is built to last, to endure. Neria stands in the center of the living room, dripping rainwater onto marble floors, arms wrapped around herself. She hasn't stopped shaking since the gunshot. Luciano walks past her without a word, shrugging off his wet jacket and tossing it onto a chair. His shirt clings to his shoulders, rain-soaked and wrinkled. He moves to a side table, pours 2 fingers of whiskey into a glass, and drinks it in one smooth motion. Then he pours another and holds it out to her. "Drink," he says. Neria doesn't move. "I want to go home." "Not yet. You can't keep me here." A black SUV pulls up to the curb 20 feet from the club entrance. The door opens, and Luciano steps out, dressed down in dark jeans and a plain hoodie. He looks like any other guy in this neighborhood, except for the way he moves, controlled, deliberate, dangerous. He crosses the street, doesn't look at her, and disappears into the club. Neria counts to 60, then she follows. The bouncer barely glances at her as she slips inside. The air smells like sweat and stale beer. Red lights pulse from the ceiling, casting everything in shades of blood. The music is louder now, heavy electronic beat, something aggressive and relentless. Bodies pressed together on the dance floor, faceless in the dark. Neria keeps her head down, moving along the edge of the room. She spots the staircase in the back corner. Metal, narrow, guarded by another man in a black shirt. He's bigger than the one outside, arms crossed, eyes scanning the crowd. Her phone buzzes. Distraction in 30 seconds. Move when he does. Neria's hands start to sweat. She wipes them on her jeans, forces herself to breathe. Then, somewhere near the bar, glass shatters. Loud, sharp, followed by shouting. The guard at the staircase tenses, looks toward the noise. Two guys are shoving each other, voices rising, fists clenched. The bartender yells something. The crowd starts to shift, pulling back, forming a circle. The guard mutters into a radio and starts moving toward the fight. Neria doesn't hesitate. She slips past the staircase, takes the steps two at a time, heart hammering. The second floor is quieter, dim hallway, closed doors, muffled voices. She checks her phone. Third door on the left. I'm already inside. She walks fast, shoulders tight, every nerve screaming at her to turn around. But she doesn't. The third door is cracked open. Neria pushes it wider, steps inside, and freezes. The room is small, couch, table, bottles scattered across the surface. And sitting in the center of it all, zip-tied to a chair, is a man in his 30s with a shaved head and a bloody nose. Marcus Vega. Luciano stands behind him, hands in his hoodie pockets, expression blank. Close the door, he says. Neria does. Marcus lifts his head, eyes swollen, lips split. He looks at her, then at Luciano, and laughs, wet, raspy. You brought a girl? What is this, amateur hour? Luciano doesn't answer. He just nods at Neria. Ask him. She swallows hard, stepping closer. Darius Freeman. Where is he? Marcus grins, blood on his teeth. Who? Darius Freeman. Neria repeats, voice shaking. You collected a debt from him 3 years ago. $15,000. Red Hook. You remember him. Marcus squints at her, then shrugs. I collect a lot of debts, sweetheart. You're going to have to be more specific. Neria's hands ball into fists. He was 22. Accounting student. You dragged him into Castellano's operation. Recognition flickers in Marcus's eyes. Just for a second. But it's enough. Oh, he says slowly. That kid. Yeah, I remember him. Smart mouth. Thought he could negotiate. Where is he? Neria's voice cracks. Marcus leans back as far as the zip ties allow. Dead, probably. Or wish he was. That's what happens when you owe money you can't pay. Neria lunges forward, hand reaching for his throat, but Luciano catches her wrist, firm, steady. Not yet, he says quietly. Marcus laughs again. She your attack dog now, Moretto. Didn't know you were into charity cases. Luciano lets go of Neria's wrist and steps around the chair, crouching so he's eye level with Marcus. Here's how this works. You tell me where Darius Freeman is, alive or dead, I don't care. And in exchange, I'll let you walk out of here with all your fingers. Marcus spits blood onto the floor. And if I don't, Luciano pulls a knife from his pocket, small, sharp, gleaming under the dim light. Then I start with the left hand and work my way up. The room goes silent, except for the muffled thump of music from downstairs. Marcus's grin falters. You're bluffing. Try me. For a long moment, Marcus just stares at him. Then he sighs, shoulders sagging. Fine, I'll talk, but you're not going to like what I say. Neria's chest tightens. Tell me. Marcus looks at her, something almost like pity in his eyes. Your brother's alive. Last I heard, Castellano's got him working offshore. One of the shipping routes. They move product through the Caribbean. Use guys like him to keep the books clean. Where? Luciano asks. Port-au-Prince. Maybe Santo Domingo. I don't know exactly. Castellano keeps that operation locked down tight. If I don't get full access. Neria's legs feel weak. He's alive. For now, Marcus says. But that doesn't mean you're going to find him. Those ships don't dock in normal ports. They disappear into international waters, and nobody asks questions. Luciano stands, slipping the knife back into his pocket. That's enough. He looks at Neria. We're done here. Wait. Neria steps forward. He knows more. He has to. He told you what he knows, Luciano says. The rest we'll get from someone higher up the chain. Marcus laughs again, weaker this time. Good luck with that. Castellano doesn't meet with people like you anymore. Moretto. Not since you went soft. Luciano's expression doesn't change, but something dangerous flashes in his eyes. I never went soft. I just got selective about who I kill. He pulls out his phone, types something fast. Within seconds, the door opens and two of his men walk in, silent, efficient. They cut the zip ties and haul Marcus to his feet. Let him go, Luciano says. Marcus stumbles, catching himself on the edge of the table. He looks at Luciano, confused. That's it. But Marcus? Luciano's voice drops. If you warn Castellano that we're coming, I'll find you. And next time, I won't ask questions first. Marcus nods quickly, backing toward the door. He glances at Neria one last time, something unreadable in his expression, then disappears into the hallway. The door closes. Neria's legs give out. She sinks onto the couch, head in her hands, breathing hard. He's alive. Darius is alive. Maybe, Luciano says, standing by the window now, looking down at the street below. What do you mean, maybe? Neria's head snaps up. You heard him. Port-au-Prince. Santo Domingo. We can't do anything until we confirm it, Luciano interrupts. Marcus could be lying, or he could be feeding us bad information to throw us off. We need proof. Ow! Luciano turns to face her. I have contacts in the shipping industry. People who owe me favors. I'll put out feelers, see if anyone's heard of Castellano's offshore operations. But it's going to take time. How much time? Days. Maybe a week. Neria stands, fists clenched. A week? Darius could be dead by then. Or he could have been dead for 3 years, and we're chasing a ghost. Luciano says flatly. I know you want answers now, but if we move too fast, we tip off Castellano, and whatever chance your brother has disappears. Neria wants to scream, wants to hit something, break something, tear this whole building down with her bare hands. But she knows he's right. She sinks back onto the couch, defeated. So what do I do? Just wait. Luciano crosses the room, crouches in front of her again. You survive. You stay close. And you trust that I'm going to do everything I can to bring your brother home. Neria looks at him, really looks at him. This man who kills without hesitation, who commands loyalty through fear, who's somehow become the only person in the world who's trying to help her. Why do you care so much? She whispers. Luciano's jaw tightens. For a moment, he doesn't answer. Then he says, because 12 years ago, I watched my father die, and I couldn't do anything to stop it. Every day since then, I've told myself that power means control. That if I'm strong enough, no one I care about will ever be vulnerable again. He pauses, eyes dark. But I was wrong. Power doesn't protect people. It just isolates them. And the only thing worse than losing someone you love is realizing you could have saved them if you'd cared enough to try. The words land heavy, raw. Neria's throat tightens. I'm not asking you to save me. I know, Luciano says. But I'm asking you to let me try anyway. Before she can respond, his phone buzzes. He glances at the screen, and his entire posture shifts, shoulders tense, jaw locked. What? Neria asks. What is it? Luciano stands, already moving toward the door. We need to leave. Now. Why? Because Marcus didn't go home. He shows her the phone, a text from one of his men. Vega made a call 30 seconds after leaving the building. Traced to Castellano's private line. Neria's blood runs cold. He warned him. Luciano confirms. Which means Castellano knows we're looking for Darius. And if your brother really is alive. He doesn't finish the sentence. He doesn't have to. Neria's on her feet, heart racing. We have to find him. Now, before Castellano decides he's a liability and gets rid of him, Luciano finishes grimly. Yeah, I know. He grabs her arm, not rough, but urgent, and pulls her toward the door. They move fast down the hallway, down the stairs, through the crowd that's still pulsing to the music. The bouncer doesn't even look at them as they slip out into the night. The black SUV is waiting. Luciano shoves Neria into the back seat, slides in beside her, slams the door. Drive, he barks. The engine roars to life. Tires screech against pavement. Neria presses against the seat, breathing hard, mind spinning. What do we do? Luciano pulls out his phone, already dialing. We move faster than Castellano expects. I'm calling in every favor I have. Port authorities, customs agents, shipping manifests. If Darius is on one of those boats, we'll find him. And if we don't, Luciano's eyes meet hers, cold, determined, terrifying in their focus. Then I'll burn Castellano's empire to the ground until there's nothing left to hide. The SUV speeds through Brooklyn, red taillights bleeding into the dark, and Neria realizes she's no longer just looking for her brother. She's at war. The flash drive lands on the table with a hollow click. Carlo stands across from Luciano in the penthouse office, arms crossed, face carved from stone. Behind him, projected on the wall screen, is a grainy surveillance photo. Neria, standing outside a warehouse in Sunset Park, handing something small to a man in a dark coat. Explain this, Carlo says. Luciano stares at the image. His jaw works. His fingers drum once against the desk. When was this taken? 2 nights ago, while you were at the docks meeting with the customs agent. Carlo's voice is flat, controlled. She left your building at 11 p.m., took a cab to Sunset Park, met with this man for 6 minutes, then came back. Who's the man? We don't know yet, but his car is registered to a shell company linked to Castellano's lawyer. The words hang in the air like smoke. Luciano picks up a flash drive, turns it over in his hand. What's on this? We pulled it from her laptop while she was sleeping. Financial records, shipping manifests, names of every contact you've used in the past 2 weeks. Carlo leans forward. She's been documenting everything, boss. Every meeting, every favor you called in, every move you made. Luciano's grip tightens on the flash drive. His knuckles go white. She played you. Carlo continues, voice harder now. Got what she wanted, revenge for her brother, and now she's selling your secrets to the highest bidder. The room is silent except for the hum of the projector. Luciano stands slowly, crossing to the window. The city sprawls below him, lights, steel, chaos contained in glass towers. He built this empire with blood and precision, and now a woman he trusted for 3 weeks might have just handed it to his enemies. Bring her in, he says quietly. Carlo nods, already pulling out his phone. Luciano doesn't turn around. He just stares out at the city, jaw tight, mind racing. Every instinct he has is screaming betrayal. But something doesn't fit. Something feels wrong. Neria didn't run. She came back. 30 minutes later, the office door opens. 2 of Luciano's men walk in first, flanking Neria. She's wearing the same jeans and jacket from earlier, hair pulled back, face pale. Her eyes find Luciano immediately, wide, confused but not afraid. Not yet. Sit, Luciano says without turning around. She sits. Carlo steps forward, dropping a folder on the desk in front of her. Care to explain these? Neria opens the folder. Her hands don't shake. She flips through the pages, printed screenshots of her laptop files, copies of the manifests, timestamps on emails she doesn't remember sending. I don't know what this is, she says slowly. Really? Carlo's voice drips with contempt. Because it looks like you've been feeding information to Castellano's people since the day you walked into this building. Neria's head snaps up. What? No, I would never. We have photo evidence, Carlo interrupts. He gestures to the screen behind him. You met with one of his associates 2 nights ago. 6 minutes. Long enough to hand over a flash drive. Neria stares at the photo, and for the first time, something cracks in her expression. That wasn't. Wasn't what? Carlo leans closer. Wasn't you? Because it sure looks like you. It was me, Neria says, voice rising. But I wasn't handing anything over. I was recording. The room goes still. Luciano finally turns around. Recording what? Neria looks at him, eyes desperate. That man, his name is Jerome Banks. He's one of Castellano's mid-level guys. He approached me outside a grocery store 3 days ago. Said he knew I was looking for Darius. Said he could help if I gave him information about you. And you didn't think to tell me this? Luciano's voice is ice. I was going to, Neria says quickly, but I needed proof first. So I agreed to meet him. I told him I'd bring files. But the flash drive I gave him, it was blank. And while we were talking, I recorded the whole conversation on my phone. Carlo scoffs. Convenient. It's the truth, Neria snaps. She pulls her phone from her pocket, hands trembling now, and unlocks it. Here, listen. She taps the screen. Static crackles, then voices. You get the files? Right here. Good. Moreto's getting too close to the shipping routes. Castellano wants him distracted. Keep feeding us intel, and we'll tell you where your brother is. And if I don't, then Darius dies. Simple as that. The recording cuts off. Silence. Luciano's eyes narrow. He takes the phone from Neria's hand, rewinds, plays it again. Then a third time. Carlo shifts uncomfortably. Boss. Quiet, Luciano says. He hands the phone back to Neria. Why didn't you come to me with this? Because I didn't know if you'd believe me, Neria whispers. I didn't know if you'd think I was playing both sides. So I decided to get proof first. Proof that they were trying to use me against you. Luciano studies her. Really studies her. The way her hands shake. The way her voice cracks. The way she's not begging, just explaining. She could have faked it, Carlo mutters. No, Luciano says. She couldn't. He crosses to the desk, picks up the flash drive Carlo brought in, and snaps in half. This wasn't her. Someone planted these files on her laptop. Someone who wanted us to turn on each other. Carlo's eyes widen. You think Castellano? I know Castellano, Luciano interrupts. He doesn't kill people head-on. He makes them destroy themselves first. He looks at Neria. He knew I'd see that photo. Knew I'd pull the files. Knew I'd question you. And if I killed you for betraying me, he wins. Because I lose the one person who's been helping me find him. Neria's breath comes faster. So they framed me. They tried to. Luciano's jaw tightens. But they didn't count on you recording the conversation. He turns to Carlo. Pull every camera feed from Sunset Park that night. I want to know who Jerome Banks reported to after that meeting. And I want to know how they accessed Neria's laptop. Carlo nods, already moving toward the door. Luciano looks back at Neria. You should have told me. I know, she says quietly. I'm sorry. Don't apologize. He steps closer, voice dropping. Just don't keep secrets from me again. Because next time, I might not figure out in time. Neria nods, swallowing hard. Luciano turns away, already thinking 3 steps ahead. They're trying to isolate me. Make me paranoid. That means they're scared. That means we're close. Close to what? Neria asks. Luciano's smile is cold, sharp. Close to the truth about your brother. And close to the end of Castellano's empire. He picks up his phone, dials. Give me everything we have on Jerome Banks. And tell the Port Authority contact I need satellite images of every offshore vessel that's docked in the Caribbean in the past month. He hangs up, looks at Neria. If Darius is alive, we'll find him. But we're running out of time. How much time? Castellano knows we're coming. Which means he's already moving assets, covering tracks, eliminating loose ends. Luciano's eyes darken. If your brother's a loose end, he's got maybe 48 hours before Castellano decides he's not worth the risk. Neria's stomach drops. 2 days. 2 days, Luciano confirms. So we move fast. And we hit hard. He crosses to the door, pauses. Neria, yeah. Thank you for recording that conversation. You just saved both our lives. The door closes behind him. Neria sits alone in the office, heart racing, hands shaking, and realizes she's not just fighting for Darius anymore. She's fighting to survive. The warehouse is dark except for a single bulb swinging from a rusted chain. Neria wakes with her head pounding and her wrists burning. Zip ties cut into her skin. She's sitting in a metal chair, ankles bound, mouth dry as sand. The air smells like oil and salt water. Dock, she thinks. Somewhere near the water. She blinks hard, trying to focus. The last thing she remembers is walking out of a bodega in Red Hook, bag of groceries in hand. Then a van. Hands grabbing her. A cloth over her mouth. Chloroform, maybe, or something stronger. Now she's here. Footsteps echo across concrete. Heavy. Slow. A man steps into the light. Tall, broad-shouldered, wearing a black tactical vest. He's holding a gun loosely in one hand, like it's an extension of his arm. You're awake, he says. Good. Hate it when they sleep through the fun part. Neria's pulse spikes. Who are you? The man grins. Jerome Banks. We met a few nights ago, remember? You gave me a flash drive. Real cute trick. By the way, recording our conversation. Castellano got a good laugh out of that. Neria's blood runs cold. Where's Luciano? Your boyfriend? Jerome laughs. Probably tearing the city apart looking for you. Which is exactly what we want. See, the plan was simple. Grab you, make him come running, take him out when he's distracted. Classic bait and switch. He crouches in front of her, gun resting on his knee. But here's the thing. Moretto's smarter than we thought. He didn't come alone. Brought half his crew, surrounded the building, turned this into a whole standoff situation. So now we're improvised. Neria's throat tightens. What does that mean? Jerome stands, pulling a phone from his pocket. It means you're going to call him. Tell him to back off. And if he doesn't, he presses the gun against her temple. Well, you know how these things end. Neria's entire body goes rigid. The cold metal bites into her skin. Her breath comes in short, shallow gasps. Make the call, Jerome says. Before she can answer, the warehouse door explodes inward. Not kicked, not shot, exploded. The blast is deafening. Metal shrieking, wood splintering, smoke billowing. Jerome stumbles backward, cursing, raising his gun. Through the smoke, a figure walks in. Luciano. No vest, no mask, just a suit jacket and a gun, calm as death. Let her go, he says. Jerome recovers fast, grabbing Neria by the hair and yanking her head back. The gun presses harder against her temple. Take another step and she's dead. Luciano stops. His eyes flick to Neria just for a second, and she sees something there she's never seen before. Fear. Not for himself. For her. You're not going to shoot her, Luciano says evenly. Oh yeah. Jerome's hand shakes slightly. Why not? Because she's your leverage. The second you kill her, you lose the only thing keeping me from putting a bullet between your eyes. Jerome's grip tightens. Then I guess we're a standoff. No, Luciano says. We're not. He raises his gun, smooth, practiced, and fires. The shot echoes like thunder. Jerome's head snaps back. His body crumples. The gun falls from his hand, clattering across concrete. Neria screams, ears ringing, vision blurred. Blood spatters her face, warm and wet. She can't breathe, can't think. Then Luciano's there, crouching in front of her, knife in hand, cutting the zip ties. His voice is low, steady, grounding. It's over. You're safe. The ties snap. Her wrists come free. She collapses forward, and Luciano catches her, holding her close. She can feel his heartbeat. Fast, unsteady, human. You shouldn't have come, she whispers against his chest. Yes, I should have, he says quietly. She pulls back, looking at him. They were going to kill you. I know. His jaw tightens. But I couldn't let them kill you. For a moment, they just stare at each other. Two people who've spent weeks circling each other, testing boundaries, building walls. And now, in the wreckage of a warehouse with blood on the floor, those walls crumble. Why? Neria asks, voice breaking. Why risk everything for me? Luciano's hand comes up, brushing a strand of hair from her face. His touch is gentle, careful, like she might shatter. Because you gave me a reason to fight, he says. And I'm done pretending I don't care. Before she can respond, footsteps pound outside. His men, securing the perimeter. Voices shout orders. Sirens wail in the distance. Luciano stands, pulling Neria to her feet. We need to move. Cops will be here in 5 minutes. And I don't feel like explaining this. Neria nods, legs unsteady. He keeps one arm around her waist, guiding her toward the door. As they step outside into the cold night air, Neria sees the full picture. 3 black SUVs parked in a semicircle, armed men standing guard, Carlo barking orders into a radio. This is what Luciano's power looks like. Not money or influence, but the willingness to burn the world down for the people he protects. Carlo jogs over, breathless. We got 6 of Castellano's men. 2 got away, but we're tracking them. Boss, we need to... Later, Luciano interrupts. He looks at Neria. You hurt. She shakes her head. I'm okay. No, you're not. His eyes scan her face, the blood, the bruises forming on her wrists. But you will be. He guides her into the back of the lead SUV, slides in beside her. The door slams. The engine roars. As they pull away from the warehouse, Neria leans against the seat, eyes closed, trying to process what just happened. She was bait. They used her to lure Luciano into a trap, and he walked in anyway. "Why didn't you send your men?" she asks quietly. "Why come yourself?" Luciano doesn't answer right away. He's staring out the window, jaw tight, hands clenched. Finally, he says, "Because I've spent 12 years letting other people do the hard things for me, letting them take the risks while I stayed safe. And every time I did that, I told myself it was smart, strategic." He turns to look at her. "But the truth is, I was just scared. Scared of caring enough about someone that losing them would break me." Neria's throat tightens. "Tonight," Luciano continues, "I realized I'd rather die trying to save you than live knowing I didn't." The words settle between them like a confession. Neria reaches out, takes his hand. His fingers close around hers, strong, steady, warm. "Thank you," she whispers. Luciano nods once. Then his phone buzzes. He glances at the screen, and his entire expression shifts, shock, then something close to hope. "What?" Neria asks. "What is it?" He turns the phone toward her. On the screen is a satellite image, a cargo ship docked in Port-au-Prince, and below it a caption, "Vessel registered to Shell Company linked to Castellano." Crew manifest includes one unidentified male, age 25, matching description of Darius Freeman. Neria's heart stops. "Is that?" "We found him," Luciano says, voice rough. "Your brother's alive." The plane touches down in Port-au-Prince just after sunrise. Heat slams into them the moment they step onto the tarmac, thick, wet, suffocating. Neria's shirt is already sticking to her back by the time they reach the car waiting on the runway. A black sedan, tinted windows, no plates. Luciano's contact is driving. A man named Michel, late 40s, scar running down his left cheek. He doesn't say much, just nods at Luciano and pulls onto the road. Neria watches the city blur past, crumbling buildings, rusted gates, streets choked with cars and motorcycles. Poverty pressed up against luxury. The kind of place where people disappear and no one asks questions. "How far?" Luciano asks. 20 minutes, Michel says in accented English. Port is locked down tight. Castellano's men everywhere. "I got us a way in." Neria leans forward. "You're sure he's there? You're sure it's Darius?" Michel glances at her in the rearview mirror. "Ship's been docked for 2 days. Crew of 12. Only one matches your description. Young, black, American. Keeps to himself. Doesn't leave the ship." "That's him," Neria breathes. "That has to be him." Luciano's hand finds hers, squeezes once. "We'll know soon." The drive feels endless. Every second stretches. Neria's pulse won't slow down. Her mind keeps spinning through worst-case scenarios. They get there and Darius is gone, or he's dead, or he doesn't remember her, or... "Stop," Luciano says quietly, reading her face. "He's alive. We're going to get him. Focus on that." Neria nods, swallowing hard. The port comes into view. Massive cranes, shipping containers stacked like building blocks, ships lined up along the docks. Michel parks 2 blocks away, engine idling. "There," he says, pointing. "Third ship from the left. White hull, blue trim. Registered as the Marisol." Luciano pulls binoculars from the bag at his feet, scans the deck. "I see 4 guards. 2 on the gangway, 2 near the cargo hold. Shift change is in 10 minutes, Michel says. That's when we move." Neria's hands won't stop shaking. "What's the plan?" Luciano lowers the binoculars. "Michel gets us past the gate. We board the ship, find Darius, and get out before anyone realizes we're there. And if someone realizes, then we improvise." His eyes meet hers. "But I'm not leaving without your brother." 10 minutes feels like an hour. Finally, Michel shifts the car into gear. "Now." They drive through the port entrance. Michel flashes a badge, says something in Creole, and the guard waves them through. No questions. No searches. Money talks louder than security. They park near a stack of containers, 50 feet from the Marisol. Luciano checks his gun, tucks it into his waistband. Neria's heart is slamming, so hard she's sure everyone can hear it. "Stay behind me," Luciano says. Don't run unless I tell you to. She nods. They move fast, heads down, blending into the chaos of the port. Workers loading cargo, forklifts beeping, radios crackling. No one looks twice at them. The gangway is empty. The guards must have rotated out. They board the ship. The deck is quiet. Too quiet. Neria's pulse spikes. Something feels wrong. Luciano motions for her to follow. They descend a narrow staircase into the belly of the ship. Tight corridors, dim lights, the smell of diesel and sweat. A door on the left is marked crew quarters. Luciano stops, listens. Muffled voices inside. He exchanges a look with Neria, then pushes the door open. 6 bunks, 4 of them occupied. And in the far corner, sitting on the edge of a cot with his head in his hands, is a man Neria hasn't seen in 3 years. Darius. Her breath catches. Her legs almost give out. He looks thinner, older. Scars on his arms she doesn't recognize. But it's him. It's her brother. Darius, she whispers. His head snaps up. His eyes go wide. Disbelief, then shock, then something that might be hope. Neria. His voice cracks. Ow! She's across the room before he can finish, throwing her arms around him, sobbing into his shoulder. He's real. He's alive. He's here. I thought you were dead, she chokes out. I thought I'd never. I'm okay, Darius says, voice shaking. I'm okay. How did you find me? Long story. She pulls back, looking at him. We need to go. Right now. Darius looks past her, sees Luciano standing in the doorway. His expression hardens. Who's that? Someone who helped me, Neria says quickly. Darius, please. We don't have time. They'll kill you if we don't. Footsteps pound above them. Shouts echo down the corridor. Luciano's jaw tightens. They know we're here. He pulls his gun, moves to the door. How many exits on this ship? 2, Darius says, standing. Gangway, an emergency ladder on the stern. Stern it is. Luciano looks at Neria. Stay close. They move fast. Out the door, down the corridor, up another staircase. Neria's lungs burn. Her legs scream. But she doesn't stop. They burst onto the deck just as 3 guards round the corner, guns raised, shouting in Creole. Luciano fires twice. Both guards drop. The 3rd dives behind a crate. Go! Luciano yells. I'll cover you. Neria grabs Darius's hand, pulling him toward the stern. The emergency ladder is there, metal rungs leading down to the water. Darius climbs down first. Neria follows. Her hands slip on the wet metal, heart hammering. Gunshots crack above them, sharp, fast. She looks up. Luciano's at the railing, firing, reloading, firing again. His face is stone. Luciano, she screams. Come on. He empties the magazine, then vaults over the railing, sliding down the ladder in 2 seconds flat. They hit the dock running. Michelle's car is already moving, screeching to a stop beside them. They pile in, Darius in front, Neria and Luciano in back. Drive, Luciano barks. The car launches forward, tires screaming. Behind them, the port erupts, alarms blaring, guards shouting, vehicles mobilizing. But they're already gone, disappearing into the maze of Port-au-Prince streets. Neria leans against the seat, breathing hard, tears streaming down her face. Darius is alive. They did it. She looks at Luciano. He's checking his gun, reloading, calm as ever. But when his eyes meet hers, she sees it. Relief. Pride. Something deeper. Thank you, she whispers. Luciano nods once. We're not done yet. The safe house is small. 2 rooms, peeling wallpaper, a single fan spinning overhead. Darius sits at the kitchen table, hands wrapped around a cup of coffee he hasn't touched. He's been silent for 20 minutes, just staring at the steam rising from a mug. Neria sits across from him, watching, waiting. Luciano, stand by the window, phone pressed his ear, speaking in low, clipped tones. Arranging extraction, covering tracks, making sure Castellano's people don't find them before they can get out of the country. Finally, Darius speaks. 3 years, he says quietly. 3 years I've been stuck on that ship, moving product, keeping books, praying someone would find me. Neria's throat tightens. I never stopped looking. I know. Darius's voice cracks. I wanted to reach out. Wanted to call, right? Something. But they said if I tried, they'd kill you. So I just survived. Kept my head down. Do what they told me. You're out now, Nereus says. That's what matters. Darius finally looks at her. His eyes are red, hollow. Am I? Because Castellano doesn't let people leave. Ever. He's going to come after me. After you. After anyone who helped. Let him, Luciano says from across the room. He pockets his phone, crosses to the table. By the time he figures out where you are, you'll be on a plane to somewhere he can't touch you. Darius looks at him, really looks at him. Who are you? Someone who owes your sister a debt. Luciano says simply. And you're just going to send us away? Hope Castellano forgets. No. Luciano's jaw tightens. I'm going to dismantle his operation piece by piece until there's nothing left for him to run. Darius blinks. You're serious. I don't joke about things like this. Nerea reaches across the table, takes Darius's hand. We're going to be okay. I promise. Darius's fingers close around hers. I missed you, sis. I missed you too. Luciano's phone buzzes. He glances at the screen, frowns. We need to move. Now. Nerea's stomach drops. What? What? Castellano's men just hit 3 of my warehouses in Brooklyn. Simultaneous strikes. This is retaliation. For rescuing Darius? For everything. Luciano's eyes darken. He's going scorched earth, which means we need to get you both out of the country before he figures out where you are. Darius stands. Where are we going? Somewhere safe. Luciano looks at Nerea. Somewhere he'll never find you. Nerea's chest tightens. What about you? I'll be fine. That's not an answer. Luciano steps closer, voice dropping. I have a war to finish. And I can't do that if I'm worried about keeping you safe. So, are you just going to send us away? Her voice rises. After everything. I'm sending you away because of everything. Luciano interrupts. Because you matter. Because Darius matters. And because if Castellano gets his hands on either of you, I'll do something stupid to get you back. The words land heavy, raw. Nerea stares at him, heart hammering. I don't want to leave you. I know. His hand comes up, brushing her cheek. But you have to. Before she can argue, Michelle appears in the doorway. Car's ready. We leave in 5. Luciano nods. Michelle disappears. Darius looks between them, then quietly excuses himself to the other room. Alone, Nerea steps closer to Luciano. What happens after? After you finish this war? I don't know, he says honestly. But I'll find you, wherever you are. Promise? I promise. She rises on her toes, kisses him, soft, desperate, full of everything she can't say. He kisses her back, hands gentle on her waist, like he's memorizing the moment. When they pull apart, his forehead rests against hers. Go, he whispers. Before I change my mind. Nerea nods, blinking back tears. She walks to the door, where Darius is waiting. He wraps an arm around her shoulders, and together they step into the sunlight. The car is idling. Michelle holds the door open. Nerea looks back one last time. Luciano stands in the doorway, silhouetted against the dim interior, watching. And then the door closes, and he's gone. 6 months later, Nerea stands on a balcony overlooking the ocean, coffee in hand, watching the sun rise over the water. The villa is quiet. Darius is still asleep, recovering, rebuilding the life Castellano stole from him. They're in Portugal now, a small coastal town where no one asks questions and the past feels like a distant dream. She's safe. Darius is safe. But she thinks about Luciano every day. There's been no word, no calls, no messages, just silence. She tells herself that's a good thing. It means he's alive. It means the war is over. But some nights, she wakes up reaching for him, and the emptiness next to her feels like a wound that won't heal. A knock at the door breaks her thoughts. She frowns. They're not expecting anyone. She sets the coffee down, crosses the living room, peers through the peephole. Her breath catches. Luciano. He's standing on her doorstep, hands in his pockets, looking older somehow, tired but whole. She yanks the door open. What are you? I told you I'd find you, he says quietly. Nerea's throat closes. Ow! I have very determined people working for me. A small smile tugs at his lips. And I made a promise. She steps aside, lets him in. He walks to the center of the room, looks around. The simple furniture, the books stacked on a coffee table, the photos Darius pinned to the wall. "You've been here 6 months," he says. "Settled in?" "Yeah." Her voice is shaky. Darius is doing better. He's seeing a therapist, starting to talk about what happened. He even applied to a university nearby. "Good." Luciano turns to face her. "And you?" "I'm." She trails off, searching for the right word. "Surviving. Just surviving." Neria crosses her arms. "What do you want me to say, Luciano? That I'm thriving? That I don't think about you every single day? That I don't?" "I'm sorry," he interrupts. She blinks. "What?" "I'm sorry I made you leave. Sorry I didn't come sooner." He steps closer. "But I needed to finish it. Needed to make sure Castellano couldn't hurt you or Darius ever again." Neria's pulse quickens. "Is he dead?" "No." Luciano's jaw tightens. "But his operation is. Every warehouse, every safe house, every corrupt official on his payroll gone. The feds have enough evidence to put him away for life. He's finished." Relief floods through her. "So it's over. It's over." They stand there, 2 feet apart, the weight of 6 months pressing between them. "Why didn't you call?" Neria asks quietly. "Because I didn't know if you'd want to hear from me." Luciano's voice is rough. "I didn't know if, after everything, you'd still..." "Still what?" He looks at her, and for the first time, she sees vulnerability in his eyes. "Still want me?" Neria's breath hitches. "Are you serious?" "I'm a criminal, Neria. I've done things that would make most people run. And you?" He gestures helplessly. "You're good. You're brave. You deserve someone who doesn't have blood on his hands." "Stop," she says firmly. "You're the reason Darius is alive. You're the reason I'm standing here instead of grieving a brother I never found. You risked everything for us." She steps closer. "So don't you dare stand there and tell me I deserve better, because there is no better. There's just you." Luciano's eyes search hers. "You mean that?" "I've never meant anything more." He closes the distance, cupping her face in his hands, and kisses her, slow, deep, like he's been holding his breath for 6 months and finally remembered how to breathe. When they pull apart, he rests his forehead against hers. "I can't stay," he says quietly. "Not for long. There are still things I need to handle in New York." "I know, but I'll come back. As often as I can." Neria smiles. "Good. Because Darius wants to meet the man who saved his life. And I want to introduce you properly, not as the guy who shot people to protect me, but as whatever this is." Luciano's thumb brushes her cheek. "And what is this?" "I don't know yet," she admits. "But I want to find out." A sound from the hallway interrupts them. Darius emerges, hair disheveled, rubbing sleep from his eyes. He stops when he sees Luciano, body tensing. "It's okay," Neria says quickly. "Darius, this is..." "I know who he is." Darius's voice is careful, measured. He crosses the room slowly, studying Luciano. "You're the one who got me off that ship." "I am," Luciano says. For a long moment, they just look at each other. Then Darius extends his hand. "Thank you," he says simply, "for bringing me back to my sister." Luciano shakes his hand. "She's the one who never gave up on you. I just helped her finish what she started." Darius nods slowly, then looks at Neria. "You trust him?" "With my life," she says without hesitation. "Then that's good enough for me." Darius releases Luciano's hand, manages a small smile. "You staying for breakfast?" "Because I make a mean omelet, and I figure I owe you at least that much." Luciano glances at Neria, sees the hope in her eyes, and something in his chest loosens. "I like that." They move to the kitchen, Darius pulling out eggs and vegetables, Neria setting the table, Luciano leaning against the counter watching them. It's domestic, normal, the kind of scene he never thought he'd be part of. As Darius cracks eggs into a bowl, he says, "So what happens now?" "Neria said you took down Castellano's operation. Does that mean we're safe?" "As safe as you can be," Luciano says. "But I've arranged something else too. New identities for both of you, if you want them. Clean backgrounds, legitimate papers. You can start over completely, new names, new lives." Darius stops mid-whisk. "You can do that. I know people." "And what does that cost?" "Nothing," Luciano says. "You already paid when you survived 3 years of hell. This is just making sure you get the life you should have had. Darius sets the bowl down, eyes bright. I don't know what to say. Say you'll use it, Luciano replies. Say you'll finish your degree, build something good, and never look back. I will. Darius's voice cracks. I promise. Neria moves to her brother's side, squeezes his shoulder. He covers her hand with his, and for a moment, they're just two siblings who found their way back to each other. Luciano watches them, and something shifts inside him. For 12 years, he built an empire that protected nothing but itself. But standing here, in this small kitchen in Portugal, watching Neria and Darius piece their lives back together, this feels like power he never knew existed. The power to heal instead of destroy. After breakfast, Darius excuses himself to take a walk on the beach, gives them privacy with a knowing look that makes Neria blush. Alone on the balcony, she and Luciano stand side by side, watching waves crash against the shore. There's something I need to show you, Luciano says quietly. He reaches into his jacket pocket, pulls out a worn folder, hands it to her. Neria opens it. Inside is a single photograph. Old, creased, colors faded. It shows Luciano, maybe 20 years old, standing next to an older man in a dark suit. Both are smiling. Behind them, the New York skyline stretches into a summer sky. That's my father, Luciano says. Taken 2 months before he died. Neria's throat tightens. Why are you showing me this? Because you asked me once why I care so much, and I didn't give you the real answer. He pauses, jaw working. My father built his empire on fear. He taught me that love was weakness, that caring about people made you vulnerable. And I believed him, right up until the moment he was shot protecting someone he loved. His voice drops. I spent 12 years telling myself he was wrong, that he died because he cared too much. But watching you fight for Darius, watching you risk everything for family, I realized he wasn't weak. He was the strongest man I ever knew, because he understood something I didn't. What's that? Neria whispers. Luciano looks at her, eyes raw. That power without purpose is just violence. And the only thing worth building is something that protects the people you love. Neria sets the photo down carefully, turns to face him. So what are you building now? I don't know yet, he admits. But for the first time in my life, I want to find out. And I want you there when I do. Even though I'm just a maid from Brooklyn? Luciano's smile is soft, genuine. You were never just anything, Neria. From the moment you whispered that warning, you changed everything. She rises on her toes, kisses him slowly. His arms wrap around her waist, pulling her close. When they break apart, she says, I love you. The words hang in the air. Simple, terrifying, true. Luciano's breath catches. You do. I do. She cups his face. I love you. Luciano Moretto. The man who kills to protect. The man who saved my brother. The man who's trying to be better than the empire that built him. His eyes shine. I love you too. They stand there as the sun climbs higher, warming the stone beneath their feet, casting long shadows across the balcony. How long can you stay? Neria asks. 3 days, Luciano says. I need to go back, clean up some final details, make sure the transition is stable. Transition? I'm stepping back from the day-to-day operations, letting Carlo run things. I'll still have influence, still have resources, but I'm done sitting on a throne I never wanted. He brushes hair from her face. I want to build something different, something that matters. And what does that look like? I don't know yet. His smile is tentative. Maybe you can help me figure it out. Neria grins. I think I can do that. 3 days later, Luciano stands at the airport, bag slung over his shoulder, Neria beside him. Call me when you land, she says. I will. And when you come back. I know. 2 weeks. I promise. She hugs him tight, breathing in the scent of his cologne. Expensive, familiar home. Be careful, she whispers. Always. He pulls back, kisses her forehead. Take care of Darius. And yourself. I will. He starts to walk away, then stops. Turns back. Neria? Yeah. Thank you. For that night at the restaurant. For warning me. For everything. Her eyes fill. Thank you for listening. He nods once, then disappears into the terminal. Nereus stands there until she can't see him anymore, then turns and walks back to the car where Darius is waiting. "He'll come back," Darius says. "I know," she replies. And she does, because some whispers change everything. Some warnings save lives, and some connections forged in danger, tested by fire, become the kind of love that lasts. 12 years ago, Luciano Moretto lost his father and learned that love was dangerous. But tonight, standing in an airport in Portugal, he learned something new. Love isn't weakness. It's the only power that matters. And the empire he's building now, the one made of second chances, redemption, and quiet justice, is the only one worth fighting for. Power means nothing if it only serves itself. True strength is knowing when to use fear and when to use mercy. And sometimes the loudest revolutions begin with a whisper, because justice doesn't always roar. Sometimes it moves quietly, carried by those brave enough to care. The city of New York still stands. The underworld still operates. But somewhere in its shadows, a mafia boss who once believed love was weakness now knows the truth. And a maid from Brooklyn who dared to whisper a warning changed not just one life, but an entire empire.